Hello guys and welcome to Theme Park Information. In today's show we'll be discussing Thorpe Park and how its development seems to have fallen down, gone slightly awry, not been as good as it should be, all of the above. Right, so for those of you who don't know, Thorpe Park used to be a theme park which developed incredibly quickly. If you jump back to when I first went there, which is in the year 2000, they literally built Tidal Wave, Detonator, Vortex, Zodiac, Colossus, Nemesis Inferno. They built Samurai, or relocated Samurai, whichever way you want to look at it. They then also built Rush and Stammer, and then finally they also built Stealth. And all of those rides and attractions appeared at Thorpe Park inside 6 years, from 2000 to 2006. It was an unbelievably cool, unprecedented development of the park, in which it went from a pretty mediocre kind of water-based theme park to probably one of the best theme parks in the UK. And it did it really quickly. It was a really exciting time to be going to Thorpe Park. I'd usually, for most of that period of time, had a season pass, and really enjoyed going there. It was always really good fun. But since then, the development has kind of understandably to a point really slowed down. Now that has something to do with the takeover of the park from the Two Swords Group to Merlin Entertainment, and that kind of happened around 2007-ish. So I can appreciate that in that year they didn't build anything new, and actually the year after they didn't really build anything either. But I would say that's kind of understandable. Takeovers can be a long process, and they need time to for the ideas and plans to be put in place and for them to move forward. So no real problems about that in terms of their development category. And then actually, you could argue the exact opposite to what this title of the video will be about. They actually built Saw the Ride in 2009, which was a massive investment for Park. I mean, the roller coaster itself is somewhat cheap, but the theming around it cost them a fair bit. In fairness, it's a really good ride. Probably my favourite ride in the park. So, it's a bit of a favourite of mine. But actually, looking at it, looking bright. Their first roller coaster, 3 years after the last one. Pretty perfect. No complaints there. And then it started to go downhill slightly. There was a few indications that things were not as it seemed. So 2010 and 11 were pretty non-eventful. I mean, Storm Surge, one of the worst rides of the park, was built in 2011. God, I wish they'd take it down. And that was literally another relocation from a different park. And unlike Samurai, which is a great ride, it doesn't fit in the park at all. It's a pretty desperate attempt to build something for a year. But that was forgiven once again in 2012, and 3 years after they built Saw the Ride, they built the Swan, really cool kind of B&M wing coaster, which obviously opened in 2012, and it's probably the second best ride in the park. Really enjoyable ride, really cool ride, really well themed once again. Really stepping up the theming game with their two roller coasters, Merlin, and generally really enjoyable. The problem I have with the park is since then. So it all started really well under Merlin, and since then it's really kind of fallen apart. I mean, obviously they did build Dan Brown's Ghost Train, which apparently was actually an incredibly expensive investment for the park. They spent a lot of time, a lot of money, constructing it, testing it, building it, everything. And I will be honest, it looks really cool. But then, like this year, they did improvements to it, which is not exactly perfect. But then going back slightly to 2015, they literally built I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, which is like a horror maze. And it's not the first one they've built either as a main attraction. Looking at you, Saw Alive. That's not a ride. That's not an attraction. That is something which operates during Halloween or during really busy times. Maybe it's very seasonal and stuff like that. It's not a permanent attraction by any stretch of the imagination. And they've built two of them, Merlin Entertainment, to just fill the year. So say they've built something to advertise something. And then you're also looking at what they were planning to build in 2015. Now, for people who don't know, Thorpe Park used to release a mid-term development plan. It used to underline what the park at least considered building and where it was going to be built. On the most part, it's pretty accurate. So for example, the plans for the Swarm were on it, and that wasn't the only roller coaster. There was another roller coaster detailed on there, which was meant to be slightly taller, Had a really cool looking layout. The location wasn't confirmed, but they were believing it would be put on its own island quite near the Swan. Sounds pretty damn cool, I think. The problem is, it was meant to be built in 2015, which went and literally gone, literally long gone. No sign of it. Now maybe it's being built a year later. No. Maybe 2017, this year. No. Maybe built next year. No. Maybe it'll be built in 2019. I would highly doubt it. It might do, you never know. But I just don't see it. It doesn't look like the park have any sort of desire to build and develop any new rides or attractions. And certainly none to the pace and expansion we saw in the early 2000s. And that's a real shame, because Thorpe Park was well on its way to being not only probably the best theme park in the UK, but probably one of the best in Europe. I think Merlin Entertainment really underestimated how good Thorpe Park could be, and how massive a theme park it could have been. Because it, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't really have a height limit. Obviously it has the second tallest roller coaster in the UK in Stealth. It has a huge amount of water rides, a huge amount of thrill rides. It has a lot of stuff crammed in, a lot of interesting rides and attractions. And it could be so much better. And then the problem is with that as well, is they're starting to get rid of rides. Now, this is something which has been happening at Alton Towers, and actually was brought up in my Alton Towers Going Backwards video, where what I saw is Alton Towers pretty much removing more rides than they were building, in consecutive years, which is a really worrying sign for any theme park to be doing. Because it's like, no, unless there's a real serious problem with it, or it needs to be replaced and rebuilt, you should probably leave it. And in fairness, I can kind of understand why Thorpe Park was shut summer. It has had really major maintenance issues, and there was only going to be so long that the fact that it was the only SNS Sky SWAT in the world would be able to save it, and that time has run out. And that's not the worst thing. I mean, but then that's if they replace it. And then you look at the fact that something like Loggers Leap, a pretty standard log flume, good fun, has actually been shut for 2 years now without any kind of word or any information about its future. Now you may be thinking, maybe they're replacing it and going to build a new roller coaster, maybe they're waiting for parts, but there's been no announcement. It's literally just been left to rot. And Thorpe Park need to really step up the game of their development, and they really need to start making that park great again, because they've kind of let it slide. I think they've not been building roller coasters or thrill rides as quickly as they should be, and they're not improving the park as quickly as they should be, and then most importantly, not competing with any other theme parks really in Europe. I mean, they and Alton Towers have a huge monopoly in the UK. They're both owned by the same company, Merlin. So Merlin can kind of just literally leave it, lay back. They know that people are going to visit Thorpe Park, they're going to visit Alton Towers. They can literally build roller coasters and thrill rides when they want to. Because there's no theme park really which competes against them. But to me personally, that's a massive mistake, because Thorpe Park and Alton Towers should be looking, at least in Europe. Alton Towers is a very well-known theme park, and I know this video is about Thorpe Park, but you could literally have it where you have two of the best theme parks in Europe, and potentially the world, in owned by the same chain, both from the same country in the UK, and that'd be awesome. And I just feel that kind of level of ambition and level of drive has just completely gone. It seems to be all about trying to save money, trying to, what they've got, they're holding on to, and hope people can still fly through the gate and then charge them an arm and a leg to go through. And it's just not quite what it should be. They should be literally, setting out plans to build some seriously awesome attractions, because all it's doing is it's shortchanging the public, customers. It's also not necessarily doing much for the UK theme park industry as a whole. There's no sort of coaster war in the UK or anything like that. It's literally done and dusted, and they are literally just taking the mickey out of it. And I mean, it'll be interesting to see what anyone thinks of this video. Please comment down below if you have any thoughts or suggestions on it. Anyway, hopefully you guys have enjoyed it at the very least, and I will catch you guys on the next video. Catch you later.